Daisy.
And I'm Terri.
And this is the Monday Mindset Podcast,
where we share things of interest to us and hopefully to you.
So let's get started with episode number 86. And this week, it's Terri's turn to share something that she's found of interest this week. What have you got for us today, Terri?
Well, Daisy, this week I picked an episode from one of our favorites, Jim Kwik. And the reason I did so is because these are usually really quick episodes with one or two really small things you can do. They're not real complicated. And sometimes both you and I can get caught in tons of interesting weeds. And I thought, I'm going to make this one a little more simple this week.
Yes, that's the real push of this particular podcast, yes. Isn't it? He wants to give you something easy and actionable in each and every episode.
Hence the reason it's called Kwik Brain with Jim Kwik. So this is a little bit of a follow-up to an episode we did way back when in the early days. And the guest is Mel Robbins. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we talked about Mel Robbins' book and strategy called the 5-second rule, where
I'm like racking my brain. Well, who was Mel Robbins? Yes, I remember.
Yep.
In fact, I still think of that sometimes when I'm trying to get myself out of bed.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, let's start again.
Got to go backwards, Daisy. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. It's like a rocket.
Yeah.
So her new book is called The High Five Habit. Take control of your life with one simple habit. And I'm going to make this so simple today because it was a very short episode. And I think it's one where if you read the book, you're going to get a lot more. But I also have a sense that this is one of those TLDR, too long, don't read. If you know this part, if you want more background, maybe that would be helpful. But I think really, if you just can start working on this habit, building this habit, you'll get the benefit. So if you think about going back to, it's like take control of your life with one simple habit. So one simple thing you can do every day. And if we go back to her first book and strategy, the 5-second rule, she said, look, that saved me at a time in my life where I was at the bottom. She and her husband had gone through bankruptcy, was out of a job, feeling horrible about life, and this saved her. She said, though, over the years, what I realized is that what it didn't save me from is that inner critic, which we've talked about recently, but that inner critic voice. And so she said, for example, when you think about morning habits, she realized she had a morning habit that she needed to change. And that was that she would hop out of the shower, she'd be getting ready, and she would either ignore the person in the mirror or she would be saying negative things. One boob is lower than the other. Your hair's a mess. Why do you have all these wrinkles? It was all this critical voice. So in this episode, she talked a little bit about the fact that that's really common for people. And I don't know exactly where she got these statistics, but as high as 91% of women don't like what they see when they look in the mirror, and just over 50% don't even look at themselves in the mirror.
Well, I was going to say there is a potentially fairly easy solution to that. You either, don't have a mirror, or you only have, like I have, sort of restricted view mirrors.
But
helps.
That cuts you off from the opportunity of using this strategy. Because it's interesting. I listened to this episode, and the episode that comes up right after it that plays if you don't stop it is an episode on building confidence. But this really is about confidence because, and sometimes I think we use words confidence, self-worth, self-esteem kind of interchangeably. But really, confidence is that sense that you can trust yourself. So here's the strategy. In the morning, when you look in the mirror, so you need the mirror, Daisy. When you look in the mirror, what she encourages you to do, and there's some research on this from a business end, that people who spend 1 minute thinking about themselves as a leader and what they're going to do that day as a leader are more successful. So she said, well, let's take this out of the leadership and just spend a few seconds, a minute reflecting on the person in that mirror. And I know this sounds a little woo-woo. I don't think Mel Robbins is very woo-woo, but it sounds a little odd to some people probably. But there's really two people there in the bathroom. There's you in your physical being looking at yourself, but there's this human being who's been kind of waiting for you to show up and take care of them. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that we're ignoring if we don't look in the mirror. So what her strategy, the high five strategy, is that you look at that person and make contact and think about, what does that person need from me? Because a lot of us spend a lot of time in our lives thinking about, what do other people need? What does my boss need? What do my colleagues need? What do my friends, partner, kids? How do I need to show up for these other people in my life? And we don't spend enough time thinking about, how do we show up for the true self, the us in our life? So this strategy is to have you pause, focus on that. What does this person need from me today? How can I show up? And then the next part that sounds very hokey, but she has science to back it up. So this might be why people would enjoy the book. But then after you reflect on this, you high five that person in the mirror. Mm-hmm. So it is basically saying, I've got your back. I'm here for you. I'm going to give you what you need. I'm fighting for you. And that this changes our overall confidence. Now, she goes through her own example of doing this and states that, maybe a year and a half or so into it, she no longer high fives herself because the negative critical voice just isn't there.
Right, yeah.
She's already connected to that inner self and is already supporting it. But I thought this was really a simple strategy. Obviously, it took me no time at all to explain it. But something that is worth trying. And you've shared a lot of examples like that. Simply standing on one foot while you brush your teeth or something like that. Doing something that doesn't cost you a lot of energy to do. Just making it a habit and seeing, what does it build? What is the outcome? Now, obviously, I think you have to be invested in it. You can't just slap the mirror and think it's going to work. But you have to take that little bit of reflection time and see if it helps build that trust in yourself, that confidence. And again, like I said, the next episode talked about confidence, and that's really what that person was talking about. How do you affirm for yourself and show up for yourself? Trust your skills, trust your intent, and take care of you. So my hope is that everyone listening will start trying this simple strategy. And anyone who's looked into anything about habit change, building habits, she refers to the concept of habit stacking. Stack this habit onto something that you already do. So you brush your teeth in the morning. When you finish brushing your teeth, pause, look at the you in the mirror, reflect on what that person needs from you today, do the high five, and move on with the rest of your day. So stack it on to a habit that you already have in the morning. And again, her example, that replaced her habit of going through the critical litany that she had been using against herself in the morning.
That also has the advantage that most people, if they're not the kind of person who has mirrors everywhere, that's the one place that most people are guaranteed to have a mirror, is over their bathroom sink, isn't it?
So after I listened to this and thought, okay, this one is so simple, I have no excuses for not trying it, right? So this morning, before you and I got on here, I did this. And my first question as I looked at myself in the mirror is, what does she need from me today? It feels a little weird because you're looking back at yourself. It's like, okay, what does she need? And I'm going to have a dental procedure today that I am scared to do. I hate the dentist. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, she needs me to be brave. She needs me to be strong and just get through this. Did the high five. And in a strange way, it felt pretty good to do that. Because otherwise in my brain, I'm just thinking, oh my God, you're such a wimp. Why are you so concerned about this? Knock it off. But to really just look at myself and say, I know she's scared. she needs me to be there for her. So either we have lost all of our listeners at this point, or people will be willing to try this pretty simple, but I think it could be pretty powerful strategy.
Well, I think there are a couple of things there as far as implementing it goes that struck me. And listening to you talking there, it's jumping in before the critic does and sort of looking more with that nurturing type aspect that you would with a child, which is quite often where these raw emotions are coming from a pretty childlike part of ourselves. You know, you're scared, or you're having a bit of a tantrum about something. You're stamping your foot and you're sulking about something, or you know, whatever it is. They're quite often quite childlike emotions, aren't they? So to sort of have that slight detachment, you know, I'm the nurturing parent here and talking to that might just help with that. Well, this is just effing stupid, talking to myself. What's going on here? So that could help with that. But the other thing was when you were saying that, yeah, I hope people will be invested in this and that it becoming a habit. And another thing that struck me was that, yes, from what you were saying, it's one of those things that's worth trying because it's so easy. But if you can't find that investment yet, just kind of maybe just go through the motions to sort of instill the bit of a habit. However stupid you think it is, high five to you. This is just something I'm going to do. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. Nobody's watching. And until it just feels a bit kind of normal, and then maybe bring the investment side of it in. There are always different ways in, aren't there? It reminded me also of, no idea which episode it was, but I remember you talking about that in a coach. And it very much reminded me of that as well, of that. You can almost see it, can't you? The coach giving that pep talk, that, you know, getting you stirred up for the day, and then doing the literal high five as that person goes past. You know, you've got this, you can do this, you know, let's go get them.
And I've got you. Like, I'm here. I'm here backing you up. I'll be here with you through this. As you were just saying that, it made me think of an image of, you know, a parent walking their 5 or 6 year old up to school on the first day. The kid is scared, like, what's this going to be? And the parent is saying, it's okay, I'm here. You can do this. I believe in you. I've got you. That's what I needed this morning. I needed that nurturing voice that said, look, I got this. We're okay.
Yeah.
And so, as you said, I love that you highlighted, there's really no harm in doing it. And as it becomes a habit, if it starts to just start your day on a little bit different footing of trusting yourself and knowing that you're in your own corner, I think it could be really powerful.
Yes, and doing something for yourself. I mean, that's one of the things. I like the fact that something I bang on about almost every time we speak, that I can see a new angle to it. But my first thing I do in the day, go down to the sea. And I mentioned to you before about noticing the difference in doing it as the first thing of the day. And there could be different reasons for that. We, you know, talking about what Andrew Huberman was talking about dopamine being higher in the morning and all the rest of it. But another element could be something as simple as I start my day doing something for me that I enjoy doing. And I do that before I do anything else. I do that before my work responsibilities. I do that before I open my laptop and check my emails. I do that even before I walk my dogs. It's the first thing I do in the day, and it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something very much for me. It doesn't, well, potentially indirectly, it has a knock-on benefit of benefiting other people, but really it is very much something for me. And so I think any kind of little habit, however small it is, however short amount of time it takes up, to start your day with something that's about you, about supporting you, even if it is only, 30 seconds in front of the mirror, high-fiving yourself.
And as you said, Daisy, it's this commitment to doing something for yourself, taking care of you, giving yourself something pleasant prior to a day of listening to the negative self-talk. Because if you waited until 4 or 5 in the afternoon, you could have very well have already had a lot of critical voice happening during that time. And then the drive to follow through and do it is weakened a little bit. Whereas when you start out fresh doing this positive thing for yourself, it can then lay out your mindset for the rest of the day rather than starting on the negative and then trying to salvage it with something good for yourself.
That's right. I can see some value in bookending it as well. When you spoke about that, the image of a child walking to school with its parent and feeling nervous and feeling a bit scared, and the parent saying, you know, I've got you. But there's also the rest of that conversation. Yes, I am dropping you off here. You are going to have to do the school day on your own, but I'm going to be here to catch you at the end. And this stacking habit with cleaning teeth, when do you tend to do that? You tend to do it at the start and the end of your day. So having this high five and then maybe catching yourself as well at the end of the day, sort of bookending the start and the end of each day in a similar way, I can see that helping too.
I'm hearing the sequel right here, Daisy. I think you're going to write the companion book of it's the morning high-fiving yourself, and then it's the evening fist bump in the mirror. Just be careful, don't break the mirror. But yeah, absolutely. And again, what a great time to do it, because that's the end of day. Good to put yourself in that state of mind, that state of being that I'm here for myself. And I'm pleased with the way I got through today, rather than the litany again of going through, oh, I didn't get this done. I should have done this. Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. Just, yeah, you did it. Good job. And I'm still here for you.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever went on, here I am to catch you. Let's have a nice sleep and start off. Tomorrow is another
I think that
day.
might be the missing piece of the high five strategy is you got to have
there you go
the fist pump at the end of the day.
Feels like it could work well.
I think so.
I will definitely start doing that. Thank you for sharing. I think that could be one of those little things that has a big impact.
Absolutely. I hope everyone gives it a try, and I hope everyone has a great week. Take good care, Daisy.
Have a fabulous week.